give you the information that you need, from business to economy to politics to technology. And that's what we do here on Newspunch, from the beginning to the end. And that is why. Thank you for joining us on the program today, Newspunch, coming to you live from Ben Television. My name is Tunde Alabi. It's a pleasure to know that you are there again this beautiful evening. It's kind of cold, but it's not really bad, and our hearts actually go out to those who have become victims of the hurricane Harvey in Florida and in the other Caribbean islands. For those who have lost loved ones, we send our condolences. For those who have lost property, we really feel for them, and our prayers and thoughts with every one of them. This evening, we are going to go to Nigeria. A couple of days ago, we all woke up to another military operation by the Nigeria Army, this time not in the northeastern part of Nigeria, but in the southeastern part of Nigeria. The military operation, codename Operation Python Dance Stew, has been directed to curtail separatist agitation in the southeastern part of Nigeria by separatist movements such as hip hop and the Kanu Nnamdi boys. Over that period of time, we've seen videos surfacing on different social media of military presence around the hip hop leader Nnamdi Kanu in the southeastern part of Nigeria, and his men resisting all military moves by the Nigeria Army. And we've seen videos where people have been shot, apparently, and supporters of Nnamdi Kanu also resisting such moves with whatsoever thing they can use as a form of defense against the Nigeria Army. And the cultural association in the southern part of Nigeria, they have come out with a statement asking the Nigeria Army to leave the territory, the southeastern territory, that is the Igbo land, within a specified period of time. Speaking, the army chief was saying the project, the operation, is a 30-day operation in order to curtail, bring to an end, and checkmate all forms of agitation in the southeastern part of Nigeria. On the program today, I'm joined by two guests. One is an economist, and she is involved in all manners of economic matters and promotion. She is a lecturer in marketing and economics, and she's been involved in what she calls newspreneurship. She is into encouraging people into starting their own business, and she is the CEO of newspreneurship. Dr. Ologwebe. Doctor, thank you for joining us on the program today.
Thank you, Tunde.
And you're welcome again to be part of the program.
Thank you very much.
My other guest is Alexander Kuye. Alexander is a public analyst and a former officer of the Metropolitan Police here in London. Alex, thank you for joining us on the program
Thanks
today.
for having me.
You're welcome. Gentlemen, you've heard my intro. And so on the program today, you will have the opportunity to join us on the show, to call into the studio. He is the military action and operation codenamed Python Dance Stew, necessary at this time in the southeastern part of Nigeria. For those who have been monitoring security situation in Nigeria, the Nigeria Army has been battling with Boko Haram over a very long period of time. And just this week, there was a report that says Nigeria, Benin Republic have lost a whole lot of human and capital resources due to Boko Haram re-insurgents in northeastern part of Nigeria. Is the military operation in the southeastern part of Nigeria necessary at this time? Is it? That's what we'll be talking about on the show. Let me start with Alexander. Alexander, from your point of view, having been involved in security operations and following situations in Nigeria, do you think, let me put it this way, do you think the military activity in the southeastern part of Nigeria could name Python Dance 2 is necessary at this time?
Thank you, Tunde. I don't think it's necessary at this moment in time. I think the whole operation from start to finish has been shambles. The military, unfortunately, are purposely aggravating this community. Yes, there is some disorder, but that's what the police are there for. The police are there to manage disorder. The military should either be in the barracks or doing what they're meant to be doing, and that's fighting Boko Haram. Now, when I woke up and I heard the news of what happened and I saw the images, I couldn't see no police there. All I saw was army. And what made it so interesting that it was army with tanks, with big, what we call MPVs, which are basically machine rifled tanks, where if a couple of shots come out of it, you know, that can kill a lot of people. So for me, I found it that it was quite shocking to see the level of force on unarmed civilians at the time. Now, we're from Africa, and whatever bites me or bites you bites everybody. Now, if the level of threat from the military has made certain people of whatever movement, if they're the Nnamdi Kanu movement, as obviously they're called, if they've been made to feel like they're victims, they will retaliate. And that's what's happening now. What they should have done, if they knew that there was a problem, was use the first line of action. In the Constitution, is the Nigerian police force. Unless that order has come from the president, somebody needs to justify why this particular community, unfortunately, at this moment in time, was being discriminated against.
Doctor, Nigeria has just come out of recession officially, technically, and it's recorded for the first time in the second quarter of this year, 0.55 GDP growth. So it means for a larger part of this administration, this government has been struggling with economic growth and the welfare development of the Nigerian people. Bearing in mind that so much resources upon the inception of this administration were deployed to fighting Boko Haram in the northeastern part of Nigeria. Probably one would say, no doubt Nigeria quickly went into recession. But at this time, you from an economic point of view, if you hear that the Nigeria government is now fighting another internal war through the deployment of military within its own internal border, what will be coming to your mind?
Thank you, Tunde. Two things will readily come to mind, looking from an economic standpoint. A country that is just coming out of economic recession, based on the fact that so many resources have been deployed into fighting the Boko Haram, and maybe some internal wars, internal civil action as well. So now at this time that the international community is looking at Nigeria as a viable country to invest in, and then you are talking about deploying resources towards fighting an internal war. So from two areas, I would say deploying resources that are not even there. I mean, people are managing the resources. So deploying resources that are supposed to be diverted or used for economic growth, using that for military action is going to deplete the resources of the country. And then you see the people are not getting what they want at the moment, and from the economic and social programs of the president, you can see that a lot of things are going on to ensure that the economy recovers. And we thank God that the economy is recovering little by little. But now, looking at, this is a time that a good signal will be sent to the international community that, you can come and invest in Nigeria. This is a period that investors will want to see if there is a chance of investing in Nigeria. So from two viewpoints, I would say, number one, there is a depletion of the resources that could be used or diverted. to good use is being used for military action. And secondly, it's a wrong signal to the international community that Nigeria is undergoing, a kind of internal conflict.
Deploying heavy military weaponry against its own citizens.
Against its own citizens. Citizens that are supposed to, there should be a kind of faith rebuilding in the political system of Nigeria, not at this period when we have gone through a lot as a nation. We have, as a country, as a people, we have gone through a lot economically, politically, socially, in all areas. And so at this period, there should be more focus on what could be done to recover the economy. And for every country that goes into war, either international war or local war, you talk about heavy resources, being diverted into such a venture. So at this moment, it's not a profitable venture from an economic point of view.
Okay, all right. If you're watching this program, and the topic is military activity in the Southeast Nigeria necessary at this time, there are two point of views in the House of Security. Point of view from a former Metropolitan Police officer, and a point of view from an economist who is a teacher of economy and entrepreneurship here in the United Kingdom. All right, so you can join us on the program. Let's have your view and your opinion as the program progresses. Alexander, as it is now, Nigeria will be dealing with two possible high-level military actions, one in the northeast, another one in the southeastern part of Nigeria. Can the government cope? Can the Nigerian military cope?
Well, the Nigerian military have coped ever since we gained independence in the 1960s. But I think if you look at it, the Nigerian government should pick their battles. And I really do think that the battle at the current moment is actually getting to the root cause of Boko Haram, not a sect in a particular community in the southeast. It really, really, really is not necessary to have two wars going on. We should be a united country. And I remember the last time I came here with the gentleman who was a lawyer, and we said that in the next coming weeks, days, and years, Nigeria is going to get divided. Now, we've just fast forward a couple of weeks, you've already seen what's happened so far. You have the Biafran people who say, you know what, I've had enough. You guys are treating us like rubbish. We want to stand up and go back to what we did when my dads were all growing up. And that is wrong. But the government need to look at it and say, how do we actually get two sides, whether it's Boko Haram or the Biafran people, to come together as one Nigeria? Nigeria is broken at the moment, and military action is not going to help things. It's just going to persuade people to actually take a rifle, take a stone, and throw it at the people who are actually attacking them. It's ridiculous, and it's sad that in 2017, we're still having this problem in Nigeria, where we're all divided, where nobody's getting along with each other anymore. Now, I think, coming back to your point, economically, I really do feel it's because a lot of people, you say the recession is over. Well, the people on the streets, they're still buying bags of rice for 10,000 naira when it used to be 4,000 naira. When you talk about recession, people, we as Nigerians, we import a lot of food into our country. Now, Nigeria is the only country I know where in a recession, the government hikes up the prices at port. So when you hike up the prices at port, who stands to gain? The person who's selling it probably doesn't gain anything, and the person who's buying it from the local market will have to pay a bit more. And the fact is that for me, I believe that Nigeria has always been in a recession. We've always been in a recession because we've always substituted oil to cover our debt. That always has been the case. When Nigeria is in a recession, that's when people I know who are suffering at home are eating well, and they can have the best things in life.
Now, as it stands, is it sufficient because some have actually said, because Boko Haram, when it started in Borno State, was not curtailed. It started as a small sect, religious sect, and so they were not well managed, they were not curtailed, they were not dealt with immediately. That's why it grew up into a monster it is today. So some have said, look, Nnamdi Kanu is breeding and building army that he calls soldiers. The Nigerian army cannot fold his arms and watch this guy build or metamorphose into another Boko Haram. Now is the time to deal with Nnamdi Kanu and his boys. Some have given that opinion. Would that be right?
What's the difference between Nnamdi Kanu's boys and the vigilantes in Lagos State? There is no difference.
No, probably those ones, the vigilantes in Lagos, are not calling for. They are not agitating any separation.
But with due respect, they commit more violence than any other group. I've lived in Nigeria, and I've seen vigilantes who have gone one step and beyond to cause havoc because they want to get what they want for themselves. Now, when it comes to Nnamdi Kanu, I think, sir, I'm not defending some of the things he said. There was one thing he said the other day, that elections won't be held in Abia State, if I'm correct. I think it was Abia State. And for me, I said to myself, this guy is not really doing any favors for himself. If somebody is actually threatening to impede an election, a free and fair election, the person should be dealt with by the police. We do not need the army to come and start shooting people. They're our last resort. I've always said it, and they need to be in the barracks. If the operation that they did was Operation Python or whatever they call themselves, the fact is that they were, if you remember last year, Operation Python was to stop different areas from, they had lots of high theft, lots of kidnappings. They were there as a show of force. And the general who came out and talked about this incident that happened last week said that we weren't specifically targeting Nnamdi Kanu's boys. We were there as a show of strength. Show of strength by shooting. Show of strength by attacking people. If you attack me, I will attack you. It's the way, the mentality in Nigeria.
In an advanced setting, is it necessary for the army to show its strength on its people, on its citizens?
They can show their strength in Borno State. They can show their strength there. That's where we need them most. The fact is, if we want to go back, even the Commissioner of Police wasn't even aware of Operation Python in that state. So for me, it shows me that some of the things they've done was even illegal. The fact is, the Commissioner of Police wasn't even aware that the army was coming to come and harass the people, Nnamdi Kanu's people. It's wrong. The Constitution states the first line defense is the police. Only the president can authorize, on the advice of the general, on the advice of the general of the army, to go and attack. So who gave that order to go there?
The president then.
Yeah, it should have been the president. But the question is this the time where we are trying to build our country as one, to go and start falling after sex? Get the police to do with it. Get the DSS to do with it. They have the capacity. And unfortunately, you can see what's going on. It's made things worse.
Doctor, if you take a look at the Igbos, the southeastern people from Nigeria, they seem to be the most entrepreneurial of any region in Nigeria. I stand to be corrected because, we all know that most things, bags, leather shoes, you hear Abba-made. They're very entrepreneurial. They are very self-made. They work with their hands. With these resources and these threats coming from the Nigeria army, what do you think could happen to that spirit if this operation persists?
Well, I would say if they started the war, if they started the uproar, then when you start a fight, you would expect.
But bearing in mind that Nnamdi Kanu and his boys, they do not represent the whole of the southeastern part of Nigeria. And not everybody will probably agree with them. But now, taking the whole military force in a show of power to the southeastern part of Nigeria, will it pose some element of fear in this very hard-working, self-made community? Or
well, you would say, thank you. You would say that for every threat of war, some section of the people, I mean, majority of the people will be affected. People don't want to go out. People are not sure of the economic situation. People don't want to start a business, or people don't even want to open their shops, normal shops, because they don't know what will happen. So let's say for the generality of the people, or for the larger percentage of the population, they might be affected. I mean, they will be affected by the military presence, because you are talking about a small section of the society causing a kind of war or a kind of conflict, and the larger part of the society are not even aware. They might not even support what the minority or what they're doing. So definitely, when you have the presence of the military in a particular community or a country or even a town, you would expect that people there will want to withdraw. Nobody wants to invest. Nobody will be too, confident to do anything, as per their normal daily duties.
In terms of financial and capital resources into the economy.
Exactly. Even if you have that, even if you're already in that state, you will want to withdraw because you will not know the end result of what is happening. Let
me put on hold. I've got Ezekiel. Ezekiel, good evening. Thank you for joining us on the show. Where is Ezekiel calling in from today? Hello, Ezekiel? Ezekiel? Is Ezekiel still there? Ezekiel, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. I am speaking from Manchester.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, if you can remember, last week there was a program of security in this country which I suggested. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
Yeah, which I suggested what the federal government should do wherever they see there is a problem in any part of Nigeria is to send the military intelligence to find out first what is that problem there. If they send the intelligence there, if there's a problem there, the military should make sure there shouldn't be any problem to escalate in any part of the problem of the country. The reason why I'm suggesting that the military is necessary in the southeast at this point in time. If not, it's going to create another problem, and it's going to create another war into the country, which we don't even need any war in Nigeria at this present moment, at the situation of the country. However, there is always a problem of security in everywhere in the world. But if the precaution and the prevention is taken, so there won't be any escalating of any trouble in any part of Nigeria. Take, for example, the Boko Haram started as these people started. The IPOB, whatever, the Biafra started. And now it was something that is more than control in Nigeria, killing millions of people, which we don't need that anymore. So, however, the security, it is more necessary. And if they think that it is better, like, for example, the Bible says, if your right eye is going to cause you a problem to enter the kingdom of God, why can't you plug that eye off? Let's plug people who is going to cause escalating of the problem in Nigeria.
So,
and let's have
Ezekiel,
peace.
in your view,
we need peace. We don't need war.
So, in your view, Ezekiel, you think is the right step for the military to have intervened? Ezekiel, in your view?
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Thanks, Ezekiel. That was Ezekiel. Ezekiel was of the opinion that, well, probably military intelligence should have been sent in, sniff out information, intervene a little bit, then thereafter military sent in to curtail. But, Alexander, at what point should the military be involved in internal aggression?
When the Inspector General of Police in Nigeria says he can't cope and he needs more resources to help. And I think you have to look at this. For me, it shows me, and I think people in Nigeria, if they're watching this, it shows me that the president doesn't have faith in his own police officers. Remember, the intelligence that the military have is no different from what the police have. The DSS even have even better intelligence. And these are the people that protect the president. What I'm saying is that they should do the right thing. Now, I agree with him. Military intelligence, working together with the military, the police, and any other security agencies to help. But how for this instance, you have a Operation Show of Strength. You did not even contact the state commissioner. Even the Inspector General of Police wasn't even aware of this operation. For me, if I was in that role, I would feel let down by the president, by the country, that you've not entrusted me to deal with this problem. Now, what happened? And I'll tell you, when the army left, who were the 4 guys for the Biafran people to attack? It was the police. Because when the army left, they all came to maintain order. What's going on? A couple of them were injured. That is the issue that is going on and needs to be sorted out. I'm not against military intelligence, but what I'm saying is first line of defense. Let us go there, see what's going on, and then escalate.
The police should have been first and foremost,
of course,
deployed. The police has different departments. It's got the security, the DSS. It's got the intelligence arm. It's got the mobile, the one that they closer to the military, the mobile police.
People are even scared of the mobile police in Nigeria than army.
So those lines of military police forces should have been deployed in this system.
And for me, it just goes to show that something hanky-panky has gone on that day. The fact is that out of all operations they've done, they didn't tell the state police and Inspector General of Police. Okay, let's say they don't tell the state police, Inspector General of Police that, hey, we're going to this state. These sets or these people are causing trouble. We are going to go there and basically deal with them. That's not what happened. And for me, it goes back to the point. You don't want people, young kids, to grow up hating the army. You don't want young kids to grow up hating the police. But when you come with force like that, the people who were not converted will now become converted.
Oladimeji, good evening. Thank you for joining us on the program, sir. Good evening.
Yeah.
Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from London.
Go ahead.
I just want to contribute to the discussion.
You're live.
I believe I'm calling from London. Yeah. I think the issue at stake at the moment, we Nigerians, we need to balance the story. We need to balance the story. We cannot just shift all the blame on Buhari and the military. Why preparation for negotiation was in progress, I can see Carlo and his members preparing for war. So you cannot expect the government to fold their hands when they can see how this guy is training up his army and all these things. You cannot just fold your hands. So we cannot just blame the military. We need to balance the story. We need to avoid sentiment in this case. If anything should go wrong at the end of the day, you send people, you will say that what are these people doing when they can see that this man is already training his armies and all these things that he has left it for so long.
Oladimeji, the position I think Alexander is making is, in the Constitution, the first line of intervention in civil disobedience is the police. And what my guest in the studio is saying is, let us assume Nnamdi is training boys. What is the role of the police in ensuring that either Nnamdi Kanu is called to order, arrested, the boys are called to order, they are arrested, or police intelligence deployed in dealing with the possible crisis being brewed by Nnamdi Kanu and his boys? That is what my guest is probably saying, that the first line of intervention was overlooked. At the moment, it should not be the military. Oladimeji, what do you say to that? Are you still there? Okay, I think he's gone. Okay, I think Oladimeji is gone. Do you want to react to his point? I think Oladimeji is gone. Thank you.
I get it, but then it's like, why the military first? For me, I get it. If they have guns ready to go and we have intelligence.
It's first, it's not the kind of actually preparing
Well,
for
no,
war.
but have you seen-
How do we define war in this
Well,
system?
everyone defines war by him having a group of boys who are training up. If you've seen the video of their training camp, I've seen a couple of videos. These people don't look, they look incompetent. I'm not saying that these people won't be able to fight.
Were they carrying arms?
They weren't carrying arms.
Were
I
they
have not seen them.
armed?
They weren't carrying arms. They were standing at attention and he was addressing them. They were wearing red caps.
So
You think they're Boy
Will
Scouts?
that be considered as preparing for war?
What's the difference between a vigilante? In Lagos, you know, if you go out around 11, 12 o'clock at night, you see some of them congregating with machetes. What, should we send the army for them as well? It's like, you can't have one rule for one and one rule for the other. That's what I'm saying. What I am saying is that if you're saying the Nigerian police force is incompetent of doing the job, come out and say it and say, listen, this is an official operation to get rid of the Biafran people. Because remember, Nnamdi Kanu has gone through the court and he has been acquitted from the court for something similar to this.
No, it's not acquitted. There is on bail.
Bail, yes.
So why shouldn't the Nigeria police go back and rearrest him for violating the condition for his bail?
Because they don't have enough evidence. They don't have enough evidence.
Okay, I've got Tunde on the line. Let me take Tunde. Tunde, thank you for joining us on the program. Good evening, Tunde. Hello, Tunde. Good evening.
Hello?
Yes, good evening. Hello, good evening. Can I ask you to turn down the volume of your TV set,
good
please?
evening.
Turn down the volume of your TV set.
My name is Tunde. I'm calling from Leicester.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I just want to contribute that.
Okay,
That's okay. I'm doing that immediately. Yeah. My contribution is that there are so many insects in Nigeria that are benefiting from the war.
Can I ask you?
They are benefiting from the war and the unrest in Nigeria.
Okay, I'm afraid we need to take him out. Please, when you call in, turn down the volume of your TV set. Do not listen to your TV set. Just talk straight to your phone. If you're watching, call back, mute your TV set, and talk straight to your phone. Thank you. Doctor, as it stands, you've made reference to the fact that fear should be put in the people, the international community. In fact, actually, there are reports in different Nigerian news that the UN is monitoring the situation now, the military situation now in the southeastern part of Nigeria. It's a very good attraction.
That sense, that is not a very good attraction. But if I will first of all react to the idea of not sending the police before the military, I would say probably the country has not been investing so much on the training, giving adequate training to the police. Maybe that's why the government does not have enough confidence to deploy them to tackle this
is it
kind of...
for the government of a country to say, well, look, we don't have confidence in our police force?
What is happening now is indirectly showing that. I mean, they might not come out to say we don't have enough confidence in our police force, but their action is showing this, that they have not actually, I mean, we are all Nigerians. We see what goes on. We travel home. We see that the police are not well, they are not adequately trained or funded in tackling security of this nature. So, and probably because of...
Why do they have the mobile police force? Those ones, sometimes they pretend to wear military camouflage and
they even say they train some of them say to us, oh, we train the military, we are superior to the military. But it's just, I mean, going from past experiences of what had gone wrong in Nigeria, that might be the reason why the government is thinking of deploying the military. But now, going back to the United Nations monitoring of what is happening in Nigeria, there is no country that undergoes maybe civil or national war that will not have that will not experience bad consequences. I mean, in terms of investors not wanting to come to such a country. For instance, the news goes around that the UN is monitoring what is happening. Then people, before the UN can come into a situation or even monitoring it, then it shows the world that there is something going on, that there is something wrong. And this thing is it's not a child's play. What is happening is not a child's play. So definitely, many people will not want to go into such a country. Nigeria has been suffering from bad image, especially from the Boko Haram, from every other economic problem, political problem. So this right now is not what we need as a country. And for the fact that the UN is standing there watching what is happening, is sort of, our recession, we say we are getting out of recession, it's not a cross. We might be going back into that recession based on what is happening. Resources are being deployed towards this, and then, people are looking at us as if we're not serious enough as a country. So
if the UN says they are monitoring institution in Nigeria, it means every country, their foreign embassies will also be monitoring situation. It means at some point, if this escalation continues, the Foreign and Commonwealth Office of the United Kingdom may say, look, we will be advising our citizens not to go to the southeastern part of Nigeria. Are we likely to get to that point?
Well, there's already an advisory on the Foreign Commonwealth Office. If you go on it, you will see that there is an advisory about. It's advisory at this moment in time. I think when it starts to get worse, they will tell people, we won't advise you to go there, and if you do, it's at your own risk. Now, Nigeria shouldn't have to be in that situation. The reason why the United Nations are monitoring is because they're monitoring to see what they can do to basically get involved. Now, the problem you have is that Nigeria hasn't really done a lot globally to mingle with other countries and basically seek help, aid, advice. A particular one is Turkey. Turkey has actually pledged allegiance to the Biafran people and acknowledge their plight and say they will work with them hand in hand on any issues that they need. Now, Turkey used to be quite good.
On a diplomatic level, is that possible or right?
Well,
is that information genuine? Because if another nation is pledging allegiance to a separatist group, then what is the why hasn't the country summoned the ambassador or high commissioner to that country to say, why are you pledging allegiance to a separatist group? What are you trying to do?
Because people don't take Nigeria seriously. And it goes back to the point that I think if you look at it in general sense, in the past 2 years, when President Buhari has gone to international meetings or summits, as Nigeria, one of the biggest countries in Africa, we don't flex our muscle when it comes to policy, when it comes to trade agreements. We tend to just come, sit down, nod, and go. And I want to raise a point. If you look at most of the advisors, so if Theresa May goes on an international summit, you will have maybe like 20 to 30 civil servants, all experts in everything, from policy, trade, and whatever, security. Nigeria, every single time you see Buhari go out to the summit, is always the same old faces. Ministers, Emechi, all of them. Now, what I'm saying, I'm not saying they're not competent. What I am saying is that there needs to be some accountability. That why are countries like Turkey going against us saying, listen, we don't like you, Nigeria, we're going to support your separatist group. Now, the UN will never intervene to that because they don't take Nigeria seriously, and we need to step up our game.
Stepping up games, Doctor. If you will be advising the Nigerian government as it is now, stepping up games in the benefit of the Nigerian people are to ensure that there is food on the table and the welfare of the people is first and foremost paramount. What will you be telling the Nigerian government?
The country, thank you. The country right now, the citizens are suffering. I mean, when you talk about 3 square meals, even though 3 is not square, but people do not have food on their table. I just came back from Nigeria, last month. And what I experienced, what I saw on people's faces is as if it's just worse than what I experienced 2 years ago, or what I saw when I went back home 2 years ago. So I would say the government should do more on the social and economic programs. I mean, trying to put in systems that can ensure that people have food to eat, and not just food, empowering the youth. Like when I went to Nigeria, I did some conferences empowering the youth on entrepreneurship. That is, you don't have to wait for the government, you don't have to wait for the community, you don't have to wait for anyone to step up to see what you can do with your life. So if, and then one of my cousins talked about the entrepreneurship program they went through at the youth camp and the NYSC camp. So the government can do much, I mean, do more in this area, try as much as possible to build the younger generation, repose faith in them, train them, bring them up, let them be up to this time, let them be able to compete globally. Is very, very important. So resources, the socio-economic program by the President Buhari, that is a very good initiative, and I know that a lot has been going on in that, trying to give money to, some bit of salary or allowance to more than 5,000 graduates with no job. But that can, instead of that, they can put in more effort on building the entrepreneurship spirit, or reviving the entrepreneurship spirit in youth by sending them to training, giving them allowances, and giving them loans and
the confidence.
And the confidence, because a youth, we look at our children here, because of what they are exposed to. You can see my child has up to like 2-3 companies going into this, going into that, because of the kind of environment.
And he's still in the university.
And he's in the final year.
And he's got three companies
set up already, and he's doing well, going all over the place because of what the environment.
Let me put on hold. Celestine, Celestine, if I get you right, good evening, yes. Celestine. Good evening, Celestine.
Yeah, good evening, my brother. How are you doing?
Adewello. Good evening. Go ahead. Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's the first time call. Actually, I'm listening to your program at the moment, and I think Alexander it makes a lot of sense over there. Except he's the one saying the truth or whatever. So it's so unfortunate that things that is happening in Nigeria that at the moment is not really good for anybody. Issue of the military exercises in eastern states. Not necessary at the moment, because everyone is talking about Kano and his agitations and the vigilante group or whatever he formed. They hasn't disturbed anyone. They haven't taken any arms or whatever. And moreover, is there any police station in Omar here that can detect that these guys have not been disturbing them or whatever? All they're doing is only agitating, making shouting or whatever, asking for their rights or whatever they call it, that they want to be on their own. They're giving Nigeria, this is the reason why we want to be on our own. It doesn't warrant military exercises over there, killing people or whatever. It's uncalled for. It's not necessary. There is police in eastern part of Nigeria that can handle this. Tell the world, this guy's been causing problems. We need assistance. We need help from you guys to come and deal with these boys. At the moment, we haven't had anything like that. We haven't said, nothing coming up on the TV that they've been killing people or whatever, arresting or, any other thing.
Right,
in my own opinion, like what Alexander said, the military exercise in that part of the place is not healthy at the moment.
All right, Celestine, thanks for joining us on the show.
Right,
I think we should go on a very short break now. When we come back, we'll be taking a look at the role of the southeastern governors. After all, there are people that are in charge of constitutionally given responsibility for maintaining security and order in some of these states in Nigeria. How have they reacted to the deployment of military to their territory? This is what we'll be taking a look at. What roles have the governors played in all this? If you're watching, don't go away. We'll be back to look at this further.
very strong calling. You do great things. Ojudalagbara. So you're not stronger than before.
Praise the Lord! Hallelujah!
I have been praying to the Lord for the past 3 years for my wife to join me here in London. Amen. And as we have it now, look, my God has done it. Amen. Look at my wife, Linda, has joined me in the boat.
Mrs. Fumi, are you aware that your husband's accused of not sleeping with just one, but 8 young virgins?
Tell your neighbor, God is here. God is here.
They want to ride big cars, fly in jets, and we, the members, suffer for it.
I am working hard to keep the few members of our church left. Why would I be happy?
It's just a work of the devil trying to bring down the man of God.
Bavidi Luxury Hotel, the newest home away from home in the Nigerian hospitality industry. 10 minutes only from the local and international airports. It's the perfect spot for your relaxation whenever you're in Lagos. 24-hour non-stop electricity, cozy and colorful rooms, Wi-Fi internet connection, and flat screen cable television. Bavidi Luxury Hotel. Our exquisite restaurant and full bar are simply second to none in taste and style. Bavidi Luxury Hotel. We are located at the posh, serene neighborhood in the Keja Business District. Your satisfaction is our first concern, so we train our staff to be professional and personable. Bavidi Luxury Hotel, number 20 Moshuda Biola Crescent, Ikeja, Lagos. Telephone +234 1291 7929 +234 708 287 7512. Bavidi Luxury Hotel, the new home away from home.
Welcome back, and as we count down to the end of the program, let's look at the position of the governors in the southeast. Following that incident, the clash between the Nigeria Army of the 145 Battalion on Sunday near Nnamdi Kanu's house. The Governors Forum, Southeastern Governors Forum, said they're setting up a 7-man committee to review the situation. What does that say if the governors feel like, hang on, what is going on in our state? Let's look at it. Does it mean they were bypassed or they were not even carried along?
Well, it goes back to the point. Let's do some comparisons. I can use America, or I can use maybe a third world country, but I'll use America. If a disorder happens in a state, not even the president of the United States can say, listen, hello, I'm sending the military here. He has to ask the governor first and says, hello, what type of help can I render to you? Then the governor will say, this is getting out of control. The police can't deal with it. I want to bring in the National Guard. That is the first line of defense, National Guard. Not even the army, National Guard. When it comes to Nigeria, I can, as a governor, if I was in one of those states and I've been told, this is my state, I'm chief security officer. You haven't even told me you guys are coming to come and do what you're doing in my state. And then also, the fact is that you've gone over my head and you've gone over my staff's head to conduct the atrocities. I can understand why they want to have a committee, but what I will say is that the committee will be useless. Now, I'll tell you why the committee will be useless. Because they don't have any powers. It's just a talking shop. It will always be a talking shop, even if they write a report or so. Do you think that the president will sign it off and say, I'm really sorry for bringing army to your state, I apologize? Because they have to tread carefully, those governors. Because if they, for some reason get on the wrong side of the president, that monthly allocation that you are getting on the 20th of every month, that might just cut into half.
That is not possible. That is a statutory allocation.
Statutory, but no.
There could be political dimension, political angle to that.
You say statutory allocation, but there's some states that don't get paid. The government hasn't received money for 2 months.
I don't think so. It's the statutory allocation. The point is there could be political dimension to that. They will flex political muscle. But let me put you on hold. Let me take Toshi. Toshi, good evening. Thank you for joining us on the show. Good evening. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from London.
Okay, thank you for joining us on the show. Go ahead and make your point.
Yes, the first point is I think it is very, very wrong for the Nigerian army to invade the southeast. They have police, they have a DSS, and I wonder why they should go there and do what they are doing, at the same time attacking the journalists. And secondly, about the governors, these governors go to Abuja to take allocation. And when they go to Abuja and take allocation, most of them pocket it, and they never care about the eastern part of Nigeria. We have got no spokesperson except this young man. Just look at the recent post they gave in NNPC. 15, 10 to the north, 3 to the southwest, 2 to the south-south. Nothing is given to southeast. The marginalization is too much. I think it's time when they should look back and reconnect things so that nobody should be marginalized. We are being marginalized, and that is the cause of all the problem. And I wonder why they should deploy army to evade. You need to see equipment. If you watch it, it's in the internet. You need to see armored equipment they deploy to the east. What have we done? I think it's wrong. They should try and get it right. This young man is not doing anything. They should call him to order and ask the southeast, what is the problem? Thank you.
All right, thanks more, Tochi, for joining us on the show. As we come down, Doctor, looking at this, should this unrest continue? Should this agitation spiral into what maybe to snowball into real battle between the army and the hip-hop boys? What could be the impact on Nigeria?
Everybody knows what could be the impact if Nigeria has witnessed war before, the Biafran war, the civil war, those kind of war. So
we're still fighting one in the northeast.
You said
we are still fighting one in
we
the
are still
northeast.
yes, and we have not yet seen the end to the Boko Haram war. I mean, at this point, there should be a kind of dialogue. There should be a kind of roundtable discussion. Like the last caller said, if someone is raising dust, you want to find out why this person is raising a dust. We don't want Nigeria to go deep into the darkness of war at this present stage. So you'll be fighting the war in the north, you'll be fighting another one in the south. And this has not yet snowballed into a war, but if it continues, nobody is going to be at the receiving end. Everybody wants to fight. So I think the government should have a kind of dialogue, call everyone involved, and let there be some form of discussion on what is the way forward. So if a group of people is agitated on a particular issue, it is the duty of the government to ask them what the agitation is all about, not sending a counterforce.
Okay.
And whenever there is a war, innocent people, innocent lives will be lost, and a lot of resources will be wasted.
All right, guys, Alexander Kuye former Met police officer. Thank you for joining us and thank you for
Thanks for
sharing
having
your
me.
thoughts with us on the show. And Dr. Logunbi, Doctor, CEO, Newmapreneurship. You've got a show coming up. We're going to talk about your conference at another event very soon, but I've run out of time now. Thank you for taking your time to join us. Guys, I'm very, very grateful for coming on the show at very short notice. Thanks a lot. This is how far I can go on the show today. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye. Politics to technology. And that's all we do here on Newspunch. From the beginning to the end. And that is why we are there. Keep watching Newspunch from Ben Television.